The operational plan, the document itself hasn't changed since the last student council. It's the exact same document that you approved. It's in there for reference, and so that you can say, oh, you haven't done all this stuff, which I think is fair. And since we don't really have a lot of time, what might be best is if people took this document away and submitted written comments on what we haven't done, what we should do, what parts of it need to be taken forward next year, because I don't think we have time to accurately to discuss it well enough here. So, is that all right with everyone? Yes.
So if we're taking it away and getting back to you,
I think that would probably
set a day that you want all submissions back.
What is today?
And could it be a little way in the future because I have about 1 million assessments?
Yeah. I don't know. What do we got for? What is it? If we cut everything in by, could we have everything in by the 20th of May? I suppose.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any comments? Yes. No. Any comments about this at the moment?
So, if we all submit our comments as you make, when can we expect to reply to all these comments?
Well, you can submit them earlier.
Yeah.
That would work too. If they're all submitted by the 20th of May, they'll probably need to be a week or two to collate and sort of answer, depending on how busy it is. Should I say the 30th, hopefully? That would give, is that 10 days? That's under a week in working days. Will that be doable? Or do you want to move things forward a bit?
Well, to be honest, I mean, if we're talking about that point, we're starting to hit handover time and everything else. So if the deadline's 20th of May, then I don't see why we need the comments. If we could get them by the end of the first week of June or something,
Yeah.
I'm sure that would be enough time for the current officers to plan ahead and incoming officers to get up to speed on things. I think we need to, just given what we've just said, I don't think we want to set ourselves an unrealistic deadline at what is going to be a hectic time of year for the SABs.
Yeah, strange that. Yeah.
Well, perhaps even just a general statement. I mean, after the deadline, it's not necessarily do we need a full reply per email, or is it just a case of actually the sabbaticals letting people know what's been said and actually just putting out a joint statement?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that I will say at the moment is that if you look at the operational plan, it's very, and we'll get into this later when we're talking about prioritizing. It is very, very broad in what it wants to accomplish. It covers all kinds of things, and this is the sort of thing we are mandated by student council to fulfill everything in this document, and there's quite a lot in there in various wide ways, and that's part of when you start with this as the first level of things you have to do, then you add on all the commitments to the executive and other things that come in from the student body over the course of the year. The commitments to partnership working with the university. You add a lot of different levels of things. You build up quite a lot of stuff that needs to be done. So I think in the future it would be good to have a more streamlined operational plan, which hopefully will prevent unfortunate things from happening, I suppose. Does anyone I want to make a comment, because we have 15 minutes for the rest of the reports, which is really not good. I think we will probably in this room possibly be cutting. No, we won't. All right. Are we happy to move on? Can I have like a show of hands in the room?
We're not approving this, right?
No, we'll have to go to approval because we have to. No.
Perhaps after the comments are submitted, then and a formal response that it could be discussed by the executive in June before handover time. Would that be a realistic timescale?
I think so. I think the reason the comments in particular will be more important is for the purpose of handover, and I think that will be incorporated into the plan of handover, and in terms of looking at what wasn't accomplished and why it wasn't accomplished and how that needs to move forward next year. if that makes sense, for the incoming officers and the outgoing officers to pass over what has been done on those areas. And because there are things in the operational plan that have definitely not been done, I'm perfectly happy to admit that. And I think, given the scope of the operational plan when it was written, it was quite an ambitious document when considering all the other obligations, like I said. So I think you might have been out of the room, Scotty, when I was saying if we could have written comments on how this document has not been fulfilled by the 20th, and then collate it.
I'm happy to stick my hand up and say yes, we can move on, but I wasn't sticking my hand up saying yes, I approve this.
That's fine. That's noted. Yeah. Right.